Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jared from the Oak Brush Boys. So trapping season is well underway. I just got some new traps in, bait in, and tomorrow marks the first day of the fur bearer season here in Oklahoma. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this flesh and beam that Aaron gave me, and I'm gonna make a PVC beam and a stand in it that can kind of go here in my garage so I can flesh in the warm air instead of being outside. Right now it's 20 degrees in the sun. It's pretty cold, so it's not going to stay like that, but it is right now. So what I'm going to do is kind of walk you guys through how I'm going to go about making this beam. I want it to be nice and wide and sturdy at the base, so I can put like a 5-gallon bucket in one of the corners and use that for throwing the fat in. It's not like I'm fleshing 30 or 40 critters at a time. It'll just be 3 or 4 here and there, and then have enough fur to put up throughout the year. But this is going to be our pattern, so I'll show you how to do it. So I've just got 3 4x4s left over from a fence project I was doing. So that's what I'll use for my base. And what I'm going to do is, I don't know exactly how long these are, but I want them to be 2.5, somewhere between 2 and 3 foot long. So let's see how wet this one is. So I want them to be 2.5, 3 foot long. So this one is pretty much right at 2.5 feet, so that'll be perfect. And then between them, I don't know exactly how long I need it to be yet, but it needs to be long enough that I can have about a 55 degree angle on my beam coming up to me. I'm a tall guy, and I want a tall fleshing beam, so I don't have to be hunched over like this all day. I want to be able to just stand up tall and scrape down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a notch out of the middle of this that's 3.5 inches wide to fit this 4x4, and then that'll sit in there. I'll screw it from the end, and that way it's nice and sturdy, and I can attach the rest of my beam to it. So I'm just going to mark out the section I need to cut out, and then I'm going to cut that out with just a regular old skill saw, nothing crazy, circular saw, and then cut it pretty deep so that way I can screw through to the other side with like a 3.5 inch screw, and it should be just fine. So as you can see, I've cut pretty deep into this thing, which is exactly what I intended to do, and I'm going to take a chisel and kind of notch all these out. Just kind of bust all those off, and pull them all out, just like that. Okay, now all I got to do now is clean all of this up in here. I've still got a few in there. Let's see if I can get those out. Yep. So I just got to clean all that up, and it'll be ready to go. Okay, so now we've got our notch kind of roughed out, and that's about as clean as I'm going to make it. So you can see it's pretty deep in there, but it should be just fine. And hopefully it fits first try. Look at that. Perfect. Looks like I got a bunch of crud underneath it. There we go. Perfect. Sweet. That's how we want it to fit. So now I'll do the other one, and that should, I think I'm going to make it a little more narrow. It's awfully long. I think probably right there should do. Let's see what that measures to. 18 inches. Yeah, I think 18 inches is going to be perfect. All right, so I've got everything fit together pretty well. So now I'm just going to put in some pretty heavy duty screws and put 3 or 4 in each side and call that good. Okay, so the next step is to, on one end of our H here, to put in our upright that our slanted part will go to, that will actually attach the beam to. So I'm just going to go ahead and toenail this sucker in, because I don't exactly know how tall it needs to be. I can always cut it off when I figure out how tall it needs to be. So I think that's probably what I'll do. All right, that is good and sturdy. I might put just a couple more in, but we'll see how it is after I get it all shored up here. So now, take another one, and I need it to be pretty much right at 55 degrees. So what I've done is I've got my wood all the way up against the edge there, here, and I need the 55 to be in the exact middle of the beam, right there. So then I can mark here. And I can mark here. All right. Now I can make the cuts to get our beam sized. Okay, let's see if it fits the way I want it to. Oh man, I tell you what, that came out dang good. Came out dang good. Let's see if I can turn it so you guys can see it without knocking everything over. That is about as perfect as I think I could have possibly got it with the tools I have. So now we know where I gotta cut that other off. Where did I put my pen? There it is right there. So now we know where we gotta cut this off. Cut that off right there. Gonna square that up a little because I'm not a master craftsman by any means, but I can get by. Okay, so we'll cut this off here, put that on here, and then I'll show you that finished product, and then we'll get to work on the beam itself and how to connect it to this, like connect the beam to this so that it's not, you know, sliding up and down, and you can change them out. All right, it's put together. That's a sturdy piece of equipment. So now, it's not. Every time I move it, I shake the whole table. So it's perfect. So this is a piece of 1/2-inch PVC that I got for free from my local water department. I asked them if they had some stuff in the discard pile I could take, and they said, come get it. So that's a little helpful tip for you if you're trying to find some free PVC to make your own flashing. But now, what I'll do is I'll trace out a pattern from this beam, from our other fleshing beam, and trace that pattern onto here and carve it out. Okay, I don't know if you can see that very well. Yep, there you go. So I just took a pin, traced it, and then I can't cut this with a skill saw, so I'm gonna have to use the jigsaw. It's just gonna take a really long time. And what I might actually end up doing is cutting it with the jigsaw to about right here where it gets, you know, its final width, and then get the skill saw out and cut it like that. That might be what I do. All right, that went super well. I just used the jigsaw. It would cut so well, I didn't have to use the skill saw. And I've cut pretty much exactly on my line. The only place I got off is right here. But you can see now I've got all these sharp corners, and that will cut your fur. So I'm gonna take a sander, maybe a draw knife. I don't know if a draw knife's gonna work, but I'm gonna take a sander, kind of round everything off, and then cut a notch right here to go down in my base. All right, so you can't hardly tell, but I got all the rough edges off, so it's nice and rounded out where it's not going to blow a hole in my pelts. And I went ahead and cleaned up the surface just a little bit too, because it had a few nicks and scrapes in it, and it looks perfect. Perfect. I mean, just straight as can be, perfect width. I have a smaller fleshing knife, so I think this is going to be just right. Let me check. I've got a got a little smaller fleshing knife here. Oh man, I think this is gonna be just right. Yeah, I'm contacting probably almost a 1/2 inch of the beam. So that is gonna be just perfect. Okay, so now the next step is to cut a notch in here and figure out just how I'm going to attach it to this. I think what I'm going to do, let's see something. Yeah, okay. So it's the perfect height to kind of lock it in a, maybe in some sort of, you know, clip down there somehow. I don't know exactly. I'll probably make it out of wood and just have it where, you know, my notch goes up about to here, and then this really locks in tight and it doesn't wiggle, because I don't want it to be jiggling all over the place while I'm trying to flesh these coyotes out. But we're making good progress, and this is going almost exactly how I hoped it would go. Okay, so it didn't work out quite how I wanted. I cut the grooves to cut it out of there. Then I didn't have really a good way to get this out of here without cracking it. So then I thought, you know, maybe if I put these in here like that, you know, it would be easier to keep it from cracking in case they split. So I tested it on a scrap piece and it split right away. So I had to drill some holes that were just big enough for the screw to fit through, and then drill that into the wood. And then I put another one up here for stability. And it just so happens that it's able to tuck in right under my workbench. And it is sturdy. I mean, it's perfect. This screw kind of sticks out a lot, and I don't really like that, so I may change it eventually. But it looks really good. I mean, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, especially for never having done one before. And at the beginning of this video, I said I wanted to be able to put a 5-gallon bucket here for fat. Look at that. Fits perfect. Fits perfect. If you guys made it this far in the video, you are either starting trapping like myself, or you've been doing it a while, and I really appreciate you guys watching. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, let me know, leave a comment, you know, like the video, whatever it is you want to do. But I appreciate y'all watching, and we will see you on the next one.